Someone recently posed a fun question to me I thought I'd try to tackle. Why didn't the Jedi discover Sheev Palpatine at a young age? In The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon tells Shmi that Anakin would have been identified much earlier if Tatooine were part of the Republic. We've seen throughout the Clone Wars that Jedi are very aware of infants with abilities in the Force, so how was it that Palpatine was missed and then allowed to become the most powerful Sith Lord in the galaxy? Surely someone with his abilities couldn't go unnoticed. First, there is a Legends answer provided in the book Darth Plagueis. In it, Plagueis attempts to use the Force to learn more about Palpatine upon their first meeting, and he's barely able to learn anything at all. I'd say that means Palpatine was just able to naturally hide himself, maybe without even knowing it. That pairs well with the fact that the Jedi never truly suspect him during the Clone Wars, despite being straight up told the Senate was under the influence of a Sith Lord. It's also hinted that Palpatine's parents feared him from very early on in his childhood and may have done their best to hide his abilities due to that fact. I think those reasons still fit perfectly well within canon, most of Darth Plagueis does actually, but I still want to explore more possible options. Even though Naboo joined the Republic around 850 years before the events of the Skywalker saga, I do still think Galactic Geography could have played a part in him not being found. Naboo was in the Mid-Rim on the borders of the Outer Rim. Remember, it was very close to Tatooine, which is why our heroes all wind up there after losing their hyperdrive, so it does stand to reason that maybe the Jedi just missed someone out on Naboo, so far from the core worlds. But I have a different theory that I like more. I actually kind of love the idea that Palpatine was discovered as a Force-sensitive youngling, but was rejected from the Order because he didn't have a high enough midi-chlorian count or something like that. To me, midi-chlorians are a measure of natural talent in the Force, but it's not the end-all be-all of Force sensitivity. I like to think that someone with a low midi-chlorian count could still learn to find balance in the light or dark side of the Force and become a great Jedi or Sith. A big complaint about midi-chlorians when they were first introduced was that they take away some of the mysticism of the Force, and I think that's kind of the point. The Jedi were running around testing blood to see if someone should be a Jedi or not instead of finding out if someone had the will or the drive or the right disposition. They treated the Force more clinically. They find someone with a high midi-chlorian count and they're like, oh yeah, lots of natural talent here, sign them up. And that's seemingly all they care about when they could also be nurturing Jedi that might have had fewer innate abilities but all the drive in the world. I say all that because what if Palpatine was found on Naboo at a young age? What if he really wanted to be a Jedi, but the Jedi were like, sorry kid, your M count is too low. You're not worth training. Maybe try politics. I think that fits with the Jedi of the time very well, and it adds a bit to the tragedy that their final downfall would have been orchestrated by someone that could have been on their side if they'd been more open-minded. It could also play into a Palpatine story about how rejection and resentment can fester into anger and hatred if you let it. If they were ever to tell a story along those lines, I'd be pretty wary of giving him an overly sympathetic origin story. I don't think we need to be given some grand and understandable reason the most evil man in the galaxy became the most evil man in the galaxy. But this idea ties the fall of the Jedi in nicely with my own thoughts on the Force and midi-chlorians, so I think it's fun. Granted, I haven't thought this through fully. Palpatine would have needed to change his identity at some point because I figure even if the Jedi don't accept a child into the Order, they'd still keep tabs on them. I'm sure people can poke holes in this idea all day, I just think it's an interesting jumping off point for a story. But what do you think? Why wasn't Palpatine discovered by the Jedi as a child? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Star Wars coverage, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.